This is not a scoreline that we expected early in this match between one of the high-seeded players, former US Open champion. At the moment, he's being outthought, I think, really, by a very good display by Christopher Rochus. Rafter at 1-4, first set. What can you do when the guy passes you like that? First shot down at your feet, difficult half volley. Oh, what bad luck. That was a terrific point. Wonderful defense from Rafter. On the defensive the whole point.
That's why Rafter plays the night matches out here, because he is just pure entertainment. Fantastic movement in that rally. And again here, smart shot going down the line off the drop shot. Made life difficult for Rochus. Little Belgium just couldn't quite pull off the flick cross court.
Oh, that's a magnificent volley.
30-15.
Still feel as though Rafter missed his opportunity early on in this set to stamp his authority all over it when Rochus was nervous, but Belgian player now full of confidence and making the Aussies' life very difficult out here.
Up and over the ball.
40-15.
First time Rafter's elected to stay back on his second serve. It's out of respect for the quality of the returns from Rochus.
Well, very good defensive play in the main, and then a couple of attacking shots towards the end. So he's just a one break behind.
It's an important game for Rafter, but I still don't feel as though it's got the same bite on his serve in this night match that he did in his first round match against Bob Bryant.
Lovely touch, absorbed the power coming at him.
15.
Taking the net at every opportunity here, Rochus. Always that easy. Chip backhand there from Rafter.
He really is making these passing shots look so simple. And they're not, with this intimidating figure and the great volleyer around the net. Well, he's just getting to everything. We said at the beginning that this man is very quick around the court. He's better than that, he's grease lightning.
40 long.
Well, this is incredibly quick as well. I thought it was such a good drop shot, but not only that, look how he controlled it. Got some depth on it, Rochus. Sometimes it helps being 5'7".
Really just smacking these forehands for winners. Very, very impressive. He leads 5-2.
Rochus leads 5-2. New balls, please.
I don't know if Rochus came onto court with a game plan. If he did, it's working to perfection. I wouldn't have thought that Rafter particularly came on with a game plan, because his game plan is always the same, whatever the surface.
Actually, when you look at the styles, you feel as though Rafter's going to match up well against Rochus in terms of where he serves, how wide he serves, and how's Rochus going to latch onto the returns. But Rochus certainly did on the game that he broke Rafter, and since then, well, he's 5'7", but he's playing like a guy that's 6'1". He's really grown in stature as the match has gone on. Rafter just not got quite the same bite. As we have another look at the quickness of both players, it's not just Rochus, it's also Rafter, superb mover around the court. Not a bad attempt here by Rafter to pull that shot off. He's enjoying himself out here now, Rochus. He wouldn't have done if Rafter got off to the sort of start that he could have done. He had break points in the Belgium's opening couple of service games. He could have been easily up 3-love in this set.
So Rafter's got to win 3 games in a row just to get safe at 5-all. That's not going to be easy. Pull a couple of serves and break once. So plenty of chances there to break. 6 in all, and failed in all 6 of them. New balls, 5-2. Well, that's brilliant too. Never mind the net cord. He got there so quickly.
Again, a quality return from Rochus, really finding some great width on the returns.
That was a good serve. It was deep enough. It kicked up high, and yet the return once again terribly testing.
Look at Rafter's record, and you think he hasn't won an indoor tournament. Surprising considering he's a serve and volleyer. I still think he struggles a little bit under lights. He said so himself, especially on the return of serve, picking the ball up. Certainly Edberg didn't enjoy playing here at the US Open under the lights. It was always a bit of an ordeal. It's tougher for the serve and volleyer because you're just a little later picking the ball up through the air.
No, Borg didn't like it either. Never won it.
It's because he always played Tanner, didn't he, under the lights. Couldn't see the serve coming down.
McEnroe, Connors, they loved it.
Give them your loyal backing, you know, maybe even turn up and honk as you pass the picket line and so on. But I think it's just a general statement that the union movement is behind this fight, and it's a bit of a warning to the government that, you know, these people are not alone.
Do you have a feel as to who's winning the PR battle in this?
Well, I think the PR battle is about 50-50 at the moment. Obviously, lots of people are rather distressed by what happened early Friday morning. I think what's more important here is what's happening behind the scenes in terms of whether we're moving towards any talks. I'm hearing that there are at least informal contacts. There are talks about talks. Everybody is realising that, you know, whatever happens in terms of public opinion, they've actually got to come around a table at some time. They've got to settle this at some stage. Therefore, they better try and work out how they can start talking soon.
So, Rory, how will the two sides be brought together?
Well, I think one of the key things here is what the employers do now. In a way, the union is on the sidelines. The union is talking to people, but it thought it had a deal on Friday morning, or it had the shape of a deal at the 16%, what it saw as an agreement to talk about modernisation. Now, that deal didn't suit the government. The government thought there were far too many holes in it, and the government threw it back at the employers. So in a way, it's for the employers now to go through their document, look at it more closely, see if they can redraw it, and see if they can come up with something that the government will be happier about.
Rory Kettlin-Jones there talking to Martin a short time ago. Well, we're now into the second day of the 8-day strike by firefighters, and we want to know what you think after hearing the accusation.
Rochus has done such a great job of getting Rafter out of his game. Pat relies so heavily on that kick second serve, and he doesn't want to hit it there now because Rochus has been so devastating on that backhand return. Rochus at the moment is winning so many points on the second serve. Rafter just 33% on his second serve.
Advantage rafter.
In contrast, he's 75% on his first serve when he gets it in.
Well, a couple of very good serves wide of the opponent. Seems to be the only way he can win a service point is to get it out of the reach
Rochus leads 5 games.
of Christoph Rochus. It's anywhere near a hitting zone, and a hitting zone is pretty wide for him. He's got such good footwork, such good movement. Serving for the set, 5-3. So really, is there a shot in the book that he hasn't shown that he's very good at, Rochus?
Well, the reverse pressure here on Rochus to try and close out this opening set. Rafter will know that. He'll be looking to be consistent.
He was very lucky, adjusted very quickly indeed from what was going to be a difficult volley into what became an easy smash. But it wouldn't have done if he hadn't moved very quickly from there to there.
Amazing enough, Rafter is actually being more successful on Rochus' first serve than second serve, and you wouldn't have picked that at the beginning. You would have thought Rafter would have been chip charging this second serve and winning the majority of the points.
Oh, that's very good indeed to get that back so accurately and produce 2 break points.
15-40.
That's where all the hours in the gym pay off for someone like Pat Rafter. Look at the strength in his arm and the wrist and in the legs as well to get himself there to pull off that shot.
Rochus gave Rafter a look of astonishment that he got that.
Game rafter.
Well played, Rafter.
Rochus leads
So the break
5
came
games to
exactly when he needed it to save his bacon. So we might see it slightly different from now on. Rochus serving for that first set, and I think really played astonishingly well to get to that position.
No, he played great tennis, so you can't take anything away from Rochus at the moment. I think he deserves to be where he is at the moment. Pat, again, showing good mental control more than anything else. He must have been frustrated with the scoreline and that he hadn't taken his opportunities, but you know, he stuck in there, held on to a tough service game at 5-2, and then got his opportunity to break back with a couple of very athletic points. He really is such a genuine guy on the tour, liked by everybody. Magazine recently in Australia nicknamed him Saint Pat, and I wonder if that headband's a little bit like a halo.
Yeah, another magazine called him the sexiest man alive. I thought you had that title, but there we are. And
No,
he's
that's alive, yeah. I'm half dead, Billy.
time.
You can't help Rafter's morale to look across the net and see a guy that really looks about 14 and you know, is about the size of a guy of about 14. producing such magnificent shots. Time after time, these passing shots have just been just excellent from Rochus. I watched his brother, was it 2 Wimbledons ago, beat Magnus Norman. Beat him out of sight too, with really beautiful play off the ground. So they're an astonishing pair of players, these 2 brothers. Still not safe though, Rafter. 4-5. Bad luck, because it was a clever return.
Well, that's where the heavy conditions help somebody like Rochus on the return to serve. The ball doesn't fly on you. You can actually grab it, get a lot of control, and get the ball down low to Rafter's feet.
Well, honestly, when you just watch Rochus, it's quite instructive. He's just grease lightning around the court from side to side. He can afford to run around the backhand, way into the backhand corner. Not sure he had to play that. Was it going in?
Well, it was that tight that I think he had to play it.
Yeah. Danger, love 30.
15-10.
Interesting, isn't it? Some players' strengths, when you're in the rally, as Rochus's forehand certainly is, but on the return of serve, you have to say that it's probably his weakness. After going there on the majority of the points.
Pretty crucial for Rafter to get these first serves in. With 79% of the first serve points won, and only 29% now of the second serves.
Again, Rafter electing to go to the forehand side.
And a point here for 5-all, first set. Beautiful serving. Excellent game from love 30 down. Really vintage Rafter play that was.
5 games on.
Now, Rochus can't give himself too much of a hard time from 5-2, really. He hasn't done too much wrong. It's just been good tennis from Rafter. And he would have taken this at the beginning of the match, 5-all opening set.
Rochus played that return there in the tram lines on the forehand, in the backhand tram lines. We're seeing a rampant at Rafter at the moment.
Love 30.
He's getting a lot of opportunities on Rochus' serve. Every time bar 1 in this set, when Rochus' serve, Pat's been up love 30. Just hasn't been able to convert enough on those openings.
Yep, I think Rochus would have expected where most of those have gone cross court. Lovely down the line shot.
15-40.
And 2 break points here for Rafter. This is some turnaround.
Sort of feeling that last point that Rafter was almost sending an invitation to Rochus to come in. He looked like he wanted to pick him off on the pass.
No first serves for Rochus in this game. Yeah, that's a wonderful game by Rafter. He really has turned things around. A big morale factor here.
Rafter leads 6 games to 5.
So from 2-5 down, 6-5 up. That is just a purple patch for Pat Rafter.
I thought you were saying earlier on it was a white patch, Billy.
Good one. It's a fact, though, when he had all that long hair, and didn't help his sweating problem, did it? Great long, greasy, sweaty locks he had. Now he's got this very short hair exposing his birthmark. I wonder what he's thinking there. Probably, my word, I'm hot.
Played good tennis. It's been good tennis from both guys in this opening set. Rafter with 28 winners, 14 unforced errors, and Rochus 17 winners, 7 unforced errors. It's been high quality tennis, and as always with Rafter, an exciting matchup. Rochus, he's against all the top guys. When you get your opportunities, you've got to take them, and he played well enough to earn his opportunities. It wasn't as though Rafter gave them to him, but he just at the crucial moment let himself down a little bit.
I think you're right. You put your finger on it when you said how he could have been so far ahead in the first set. What, at least 3-love anyway. Break points, break points, break points. I'm just looking at the notes here. 2 break points in the first game. Then Rafter had break point against him. Then Rochus a break point in the third game. Rafter had 2 break points and was broken in the fourth game.
Certainly a lot of break points.
And just a succession. And so the score could have been anything. But it ended up with Rochus on top.
Serve and volleying is all about movement and fluidity, and that's certainly something that Rafter has, and balance. Got in so quickly behind that second serve. Hasn't really found that serve this evening at all.
Yeah, that was working in the first half of this set, and it cannot be easy. Two-handed backhand high up above your head.
Problem now for Rochus is he has to make it, whereas before he didn't.
Good point. Different expression on his face now. Fabulous half volley. And smiling, he looks as though he's almost crying.
Yeah, I hope we have a look at that, but it doesn't look like we're going to with Rafter with the 3 set points, but it's a great example of how to hit a half volley.
That's a fabulous ending after a very, very difficult beginning, and full marks to Rochus to make it difficult. So Rafter, first set, 7-5. Rochus just served 1 ace and no double faults. And only 7 aces. He would have expected perhaps more in that first set.
I think you would have expected more out of it when you look at those stats. If you've got those sort of statistics and you don't win the set, I think you're in a bit of trouble, because it doesn't get much better than that, and it has been a quality set from Rochus, about as well as you would expect him to play or be allowed to play by Pat Rafter. Rafter will feel that there's more to come from his game. Perhaps has just turned this match on its head.
Without looking at those stats, Mark, I'm surprised to see 31 winners for Rafter and 17 for Rochus. I really am quite surprised to see those figures. I would have thought they'd almost be the other way round.
So many volleying winners, though, from Rafter.
Yeah, if you wipe out the volley winners, they would have been the other way round, I think. Oh, well reached. Gosh, he just glides across as though he's on skates.
15
But he's got the right name because Rochus is a rocket.
There goes that very good cross-court backhand. He really does lean into it. Rochus slow to set off there. I was wondering if he thought his serve was maybe a fault, but there was no noise.
Well, it was cunning play from Rochus. He was actually trying to drill it underneath the net and see if the umpire didn't notice.
No, too much angle. And a clean, easy game for Rochus. First game, second set.
First game, second set.
It's probably going to be one of those matches that Rafter is going to have to grind out. It isn't going to go as smoothly as he would like. He's going to probably have to face a fair few break points. He just can't get quite the same bite on certain shots, especially the slice. Again, go back to the heavier conditions here with humidity. The ball just stops and slows down a split second more, and it gives Rochus that chance for the pass. Rafter love one, second set.
Yep. Couldn't have been any better.
Lovely team.
When he used it, he's been very successful with that from the left court down the middle. How many half volleys has Rochus forced
15-30.
Pat Rafter to play?
Doesn't take much to get a laugh around here, does it?
Rochus is just resigned to that serve being successful. Well, that jammed him. For the first time, I think.
Good depth on the second serve there from Rafter, and really just chased Rochus.
excellent serving. Seeing that that particular serve down the middle is proving fruitful, he's using it.
Just goes to show how strong men's tennis is. You look at someone like Rochus, 79th in the world right now. He hasn't had a fantastic year by anybody's standards.
Beautifully guided. Yeah, I was just thinking exactly the same thing. We've seen a succession of ladies' matches, haven't we, where the stars of the game, the top 5 or 6 players, are just making mincemeat of the players ranked similarly to this chap here. And yet in the men's game, boy, there's peril all the way down to 100 at least. If you're not on top of your game and somebody like a Rochus comes along on top of his game, you've got problems.
I think the guys tend to step up to the plate when they come up against the big ones. They really rise to the occasion, as Rochus has done this evening. Whereas you get the feeling in the women's game that the lower ranked players, when they play the big names, just get a little intimidated.
15.
That's certainly what's happened tonight. Rochus has really risen to the occasion. Rafter's the one with the bullseye on his chest, and he's gone after him.
Yes, earlier today, for example, we saw a fellow called Hugo Armando, who nobody had heard of, playing the Wimbledon champion, Ivanisevic. Armando ranked 115, gave him a lot of trouble. Played very well.
Chance there for Rafter. A little bit daylight in this second set. Now gone, and it's been a highly entertaining hour's play.
And that might be a very important break of serve there. And he's really had to work for it. Just looking at those stats again, Mark, he's only been handed what in the unforced errors department, I can't see the line, where are we, 10. Only 10 in a set and a bit by Rochus. That's very solid play, isn't it?
I think from both guys it's been solid play, as I said, entertaining play, enterprising play for the most part, but Rafter sort of aggressive type of tennis and all business tennis is now taking care of what I think is a tidy player in Rochus. Everything he does is good, but there's nothing great about it. As I was saying with Rochus' year, he's won 9 matches, but he's lost 19, and he's gone through a couple of sort of long losing stretches as well during that period, so he would have had to keep fighting the demons as well this year to get himself back on track. Watching him play on the hard courts, it's surprising that he spends so much of his time actually on the clay. He looks, for me, as though he's very well equipped to play on a hard court.
Quite agree. And then again, there's the factor of some players freeze just that little bit, playing on a really big occasion. You can't get much bigger than this, a stadium that holds 23,000 people, and it's not far off packed. Just a few seats right up at the very back, where incidentally we are. And we're 120 feet, in case you didn't know, above the court, which is really quite a long way from it. And these are big, big occasions, and when you're playing a top player, a former champion, for Rochus to come out ranked so low as he is, it's a very good performance. With a break, 2-1. Beautiful control of the ball from, once again, great height.
But if you can do it, it's a great place to return off that wide serve on the forehand side, because Rafter will be half guessing the ball's going to go down the line and move in that way.
Proved fruitful too from the ad court serving there, hooking that forehand down the line.
He hasn't painted the line with that serve down the tee on the ad side. Rochus has done well on the forehand. Oh, we've seen some great exhibits of half volleying tonight. Perhaps none better than that one, because he went back over the high part of the net, and I'm sure Rochus couldn't have expected that. No racket head movement at all from Rafter, really letting the ball come on.
I think it's a measure of the really good player, the ones who can control that half volley. Sort of, some players just look on it as a damage limitation, scoop it back, hope. Rafter actually turns it into an offensive weapon.
And he's been under pressure on his serve. He's managed to pick up the first serve percentage, Rafter.
This is a point for 3-1. Outside the singles tram line, nothing much to aim at from that position.
A lot of times from that position there, Rafter better off going back to the backhand side. You cut down the angles a little bit, but Rochus getting around the outside of that ball. Good racket head speed.
Nearly made it again.
Not so much throwing it up, but getting himself up as well. The ball's just too low as he's hitting that serve, and it's got to be at its maximum height. He's going over the highest part of the net.
Well played, that was deep with topspin. Ball accelerating after the bounce. 3-1 it is. They lost one game from 2-5 down in that first set.
Just a little too cute from Rochus.
That was not one of his best approach shots, chip and charge. Not enough slice, you're right. Too high, you're right. Oh, like a bullet. Couldn't have been better.
This is an arrow to its target, isn't it? It's a good chip charge here from Rafter. Keeps the ball down low, and again covers the ground, gets a nice position at the net, but couldn't have hit it better, Rochus.
Killed the pace well then, Rochus as well.
hustle from Rafter, but you wouldn't expect anything else from the Aussie.
That didn't work either. Not one of Rafter's best games. Excellent play, though, from Rochus. But he's still a break behind at 2-3.
It's been a workmanlike performance from Rafter, and he's had to get his game face on. He hasn't had any moments where he could just relax and just cruise through this. Whenever he's got a little bit of daylight, as he has here in the second set, Rochus has stayed with him and forced him to keep coming up with good shots and good movement. He's continually under pressure. Tough section of the draw that Rafter's in. A chance of meeting Sampras in the fourth round. If he gets through this, he'll play the winner of that match we were watching a little bit earlier, Lopenti and Sanguinetti. Gamble's also in there, floating around. If he came through that, he'd have a little game probably with Agassi or Roger Federer. So whoever comes out of that is going to be playing some pretty good tennis.
Yeah, they certainly are. That's a tough path, isn't it? Very open US. This is.
Certainly on the men's side, I think the women's, you've at least got a clear-cut favourite, Venus Williams. Whether she goes on to repeat is another matter, but in the men's, certainly there's a good half a dozen of the usual suspects, and probably more who could come through and take the title.
Yeah. In these conditions, it's got to be somebody who is super fit. Most of them are, of course, but they might fold up halfway through a match, get cramp or whatever. So it's an unpredictable US Open, this one, for the men. Oh, he put that out. Unbelievable. Rafter did miracles, really, to get it back. I think he thought it was going up.
Well, St. Pat is able to produce miracles.
Once again, that is a menacing forehand.
15.
Well, that's just a great return of serve. It's a pretty good pass as well, but he's managing to drag it cross-court and get it so low and get a look at the second shot.
30-15.
It's been a good job that Rafter's hit that serve well tonight, both to Rochus's forehand on the ad and the juice, because generally he struggles a little bit with the one out on the juice side. Tends to throw the ball a little bit over the left of his shoulder to get the kick. As you can see there, 11 aces and the majority to the forehand.
Pretty good first serve percentages for both, 63. And he has 65%. That's very good, really. Particularly for a man like Rochus of this only 5'7", low trajectory over the net, more difficult. Brilliant serving, Rochus dubious. Maintains his supremacy with the one break, 4-2 up.
Again, Rochus did wrong in that game. If he can lay a racket on the ball, he's making Rafter's life uncomfortable.
Love 15.
plays a very stylish backhand slice from that backhand corner when he elects not to run round it. Beautiful control. Lovely approach shot with slice right into the corner.
15-30.
Best in the business at it. He's struggled a little bit with the drop volley tonight, Rafter. Not that time.
Didn't adjust for being having to backpedal behind the baseline. Unusual. Still only 14 unforced errors.
Game rafter.
Well, that's his first double fault of the match. To match his one ace.
Rafter leads 5 games to 2.
And he's now 5-2 down, the double break, and Rafter must be breathing a bit more easily, and I'm sure he wasn't towards the middle of the first set.
Certainly breathing a lot more easily, I think. It was a poor game from Rochus, and really the first really poor game that he's played. Obviously broken a couple of times already in the match, but it's been through Rafter's good play rather than Rochus's poor play, and that was the first time I just got the feeling, the sense that Rochus, his belief that he could actually win this match is starting to slip away.
Yeah, I hate to think what his approach to the game would have been had he taken that first set, which he really did look like doing. There's only some inspired play by Pat Rafter that pulled it round from 2-5 down to 7-5 to Rafter. I mean, he really played well then. And if Rochus had been ahead, he looked cheerful, he looked fit, and he was playing brilliantly.
That's what I was saying early on in the first set. If Pat had got off to a quick start as he had a chance to go up 3-love, I don't think we would have seen the best of Rochus. He would have gone into a little bit into his shell and thought, well, I'm not in the same league as this guy, so let's just get this out of the way and get as many games as I can. Tony Roach, Rafter's coach, will certainly be feeling a lot better about things right now. But as we see, as soon as Rafter has sort of got on top of Rochus, he's not quite the same player. Doesn't have the same sting. There's been glimpses the sort of play he had it early on in the first set, but not sustained enough to trouble Rafter now.
So serving for a 2-set lead, 5-2. That was a fabulous serve, that one. Bent it like a Beckham free kick.
Rochus is trying to diffuse Rafter's kick serve this evening by standing over there and taking the ball early on the backhand, but I think it's got to the stage of the match now where he needs to just move across a bit and cover the forehand. Rafter just getting too many free points.
So 3 chances for the 2-set lead. Once again, the very good return of serve right down at the feet. has turned the match round. Very good play by Rafter. He's come to terms with himself. He's come to terms with Christoph Rochus. And the match now has a very different complexion.